We were homeless for a night.
Play the theme music. Hello and welcome to this episode of Tripology. I'm Alan and I'm here with the ever embarrassed Adam.
Yeah, really embarrassed, mate. Let's get to that in the second half of the episode. Stay tuned for that one.
In the first half of the episode, we have a tale to tell that we teased in last week's episode, and that is the story of us going from Ahmedabad to Dehradun.
Which is where we are now.
Yeah, easy bus ride it was from Jamnagar to Ahmedabad.
I know, because you're bound to say that it was easy because you sleep through 90% of it.
But the bus ride from Jamnagar to Ahmedabad, it wasn't bad, no?
It was all right. It was fine. Pretty uneventful.
We booked it specifically because we had a little back and forth about how to get from Jamnagar to Ahmedabad. And I said, listen, the last thing that you want to do is arrive at Ahmedabad at like 3 a.m, too late to get a hotel.
Well, have we specified that we also had a bus booked from Ahmedabad to Dehradun?
Yeah, it's all a big complex travel situation where basically we're going to be up in the mountains. So we've already booked a voyage from Ahmedabad in the morning, Sunday morning.
Yeah, leaving circa 7:30, 8 o'clock.
That would be a 27-hour bus ride all the way to Dehradun. We'll talk about that in the second half of the episode, right?
We will. Oh, God.
So we were left with the task of how to get to Ahmedabad. We thought, no problem. We don't want it to be too late at night because then we'll struggle with hotels and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's about 6 hours by road, typically.
Exactly. But because we'd done all the stuff trying to find out about my Polish relatives in the day, we also couldn't book it far enough in advance they would get kind of in the evening time. The best we could settle on was a bus that would arrive in the city at 1 a.m.
Yeah, because you said to me that the last thing we want to do is to hit Ahmedabad, a big city that we don't really know, at about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So then we got no options.
Yeah, because then our plan was maybe just to wait for the bus. Our bus leaving Ahmedabad was at 7. We thought, oh, that's only 4 hours. We could sort of manage that. No, let's get there a bit earlier, get a hotel for the night, be well rested, then get on the bus in the morning. That's what we thought.
Yeah, and we are also assuming that there would be that it would arrive in Ahmedabad on time. I was a little bit worried that even 3 hours wasn't enough margin for it to go wrong.
Yeah, whereas I think they're often early, these buses in India, because they plan for traffic, and often at night there isn't any. So
yeah, cool.
Bus ride itself, like I said, pretty uneventful. I slept most of the time. It was fine for you as well?
Yeah, it was all right. No problems there, and we arrived on time.
We arrived very much on time, took a tuk-tuk to a location that I knew had a bunch of hotels with the intention of, just like we did in Jamnagar, going, knocking on some, finding the best price, going, sleeping for a few hours, getting up for the bus in the morning.
Yeah, and very strategically as well, because it was just down the road from where we're supposed to get our bus from Ahmedabad the following morning.
Exactly. It's the perfect plan. We're experienced travellers.
What could have gone wrong? It wasn't like no planning went into it.
And listen, I've heard from some people who've said, always book a hotel if you're arriving late.
Okay.
And to those people, I say this. We've been doing this a long time. We've been backpacking ever such a long time.
Yeah.
And just like if you're a really good marksman, you might go and start doing trick shots.
Right. Yeah.
We're the kind of backpackers that now we've been doing it long enough. Sometimes we think we'll just get there and we'll figure it out when we get there.
Yeah.
Just not for just the challenge, but also you can get cheaper costs sometimes this way. Irresponsible? Maybe. Does it work? Most of the time.
It does work most of the time. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think most of the time it does work. And at the very least, it's a great story that you can tell on your travel podcast.
So we arrived 1 a.m, go to a hotel, head up the stairs, ring the doorbell, sort of wake someone from their slumber behind a locked grill. They come bleary-eyed up to us. We say, hello, sir, we would like to book a room for the night. He goes, no space.
Yeah, absolutely none of it.
If there was a door to slam, he would have slammed it, but instead he just retreated back into the shadows.
Yeah, he was talking to us through an iron gate that was locked with a padlock. So
I thought, no problem. That's fine. There's another hotel down the road.
Yeah,
we'll head to that.
Yeah.
We head to that hotel.
We did.
Go up some stairs. Ring another doorbell.
We
Wake
also,
another bleary-eyed Indian man.
Yeah, he sort of, came out of his slumber, stumbled over towards us, and half asleep, and we said, we'd really like to stay here. Do you have an available room? Unfortunately, Alan.
No space available.
Yeah, and then the panic didn't start setting in, but I thought that's quite unusual. This is much harder than I thought it was going to be, because now it is getting late. The first 2 hotels we've tried don't have any space.
Yeah.
And call me a cynic, but I think maybe they just don't want to do the admin.
I mean, without repeating the story over and over again, this happened several times to every hotel down the road. We went into one hotel and they invited us in. We were like, oh, amazing. Got there, said, have you got any space? They were like, no. I was like, can you help us find a place with space? He was like, no. We were like, can we just sleep on the sofa? He was like, no.
Yeah, we weren't treated that kindly. Having said that, I don't know if there are some insurance things that we don't understand, and whether they need passport details or whatever in that situation. Who knows? But anyway,
we went to another spot and they were sleeping sort of in an area. We said, look, can we just sleep here with you? He went, no, this is only for Indian people.
Yeah.
He said that to us.
We're not accepting any foreigners. This hotel is only for Indians.
And you fancied yourself quite charming. I thought Adam's going to be able to sway this with a smile and a wink, but no. Impossible.
Yeah, I fluttered my eyelashes and he said, there's the door, get a tuk-tuk to a different hotel. He gave us the name of another hotel that he said, he actually spoke to them on the phone, to be fair.
Everyone just kicked us down the line though, didn't they? There's no space here, go somewhere else, was the proverb that all these places were telling us. Yeah. And we were really kind of running out of options. Were you getting scared by the amount of attention on the streets in between hotels?
I think so, because at that time, I wouldn't use the word scared because I was with you. And I did think that, if there was a situation where we'd have to kind of get out of it, I think we could manage it before it became a real issue.
Because you think I'm good in a conflict situation, or because you just think 2 people's quite safe in general?
No, I just think that there would have been ways in which we could manage the situation, diffuse it so that it wouldn't have become a problem.
And I am a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So together, you've got the diffusing tactic and then I just shoot for the legs, something like that.
I mean, it's not ideal, is it? Let's be frank. Walking down the middle of the road when there's...
Getting later and later, it's like 3 a.m. now. The time that we tried desperately to avoid arriving at Ahmedabad.
I know, and there were groups of people that were staring at us, calling us over, approaching us, driving past us on scooters many times. And
all purple belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
In hindsight, a lot of them just looked interested, and why wouldn't they? There are 2 white guys just sauntering down the middle of the street.
In a place where maybe there aren't many tourists.
Yeah.
A few people stopped their bikes and said, hey, can we help you? But we were kind of skittish and scared. We were like, we don't want help. We don't want to talk to anyone. We just want to get a hotel for the night.
I know. I think what exacerbated the situation was that we had all of our belongings with us, like everything that we basically own, the 2 of us. So it wouldn't have been that difficult to ruin a lot of what we're doing now.
And I've been mugged at knife point in Bangalore in exactly this situation. Taking a night bus has got me there at a time where I couldn't get accommodation yet, and I've been stuck,
We did actually, it's interesting that you still allowed that to happen, really. But we did come across a few doorways and little cubby holes that we were maybe considering just bunkering down in, right, for a few hours. We would have done that. I think that would have been all right.
Yeah, we thought that maybe we could sleep in a little cubby hole if worst came to the worst. And then there was also one of the hotels that we tried to check in, all the staff were sleeping out in the open on the roof, and we thought we could just join them, really. That'd be quite nice.
That'd be fine. But yeah, I think we're prepared to sleep rough if we need to.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be ideal. Maybe important to add as well, there were hundreds of people sleeping on the streets themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I don't know if that made me feel more comfortable about it. I thought it looks all right.
Didn't make me feel comfortable because we were 2 white guys with all our stuff. So it seemed more of a target than the homeless people that were sleeping outside.
Yeah, we can't blend in by just being asleep.
Yeah, exactly that. But do you know what? I did think we only had a few hours, really, until we knew we had to catch the bus. Because it was 3 a.m. and our bus was going to leave at 7:30. So it was not the worst case scenario. But you said maybe we just go and see if we can sleep in the waiting room of a local hospital.
Yeah, just wait there, because there was one very close by the last hotel, that we were at, and then we got refused from. There was a hospital just down the road. I thought maybe that's innovative.
Now, I've been in an Indian hospital before, and I said I don't think that's a good place to sleep because it's got fluorescent lighting, people bleeding and screaming and coughing and all this sort of stuff. I was like, we can go and see, but I'm really prepared to move on if this is too hectic.
I just wanted to be off the streets at that point, I think.
Yeah, which is fair. But lo and behold, we went into that Indian hospital.
Yeah, we got let in by the security guards there. Wasn't sure whether we were going to be able to do that because it was through like a gated entrance, wasn't it?
if I expected to see the thing that we saw, then we would have beelined straight there because it was an outdoor 24-hour cafe.
Yeah.
With seating, with like dimmed lights. It was quite a vibe. So we just hunkered down there for the rest of the night, didn't we? I offered to look after the bags while you got some sleep on a park bench.
Yeah, I went and slept on a park bench with some other people who were also sleeping on their park benches. Really,
I didn't feel like I needed much sleep myself because I had slept so much on the night buses.
Yeah, it was a great find. It was covered. There was hot food if we wanted it. There were lots of security guards around.
Mm-hmm.
It was in a gated sort of entrance. So, I mean, it was pretty bad. I mean, it was far from ideal, but it could have been much worse.
It was a bit of a result, really, wasn't it?
A bit of a
was
touch.
Like quite a nice place to find and sleep for the night. How did you kind of find it? I think you initially were suffering more than me.
Because I was just tired.
You just seemed tired and sort of
a bit grouchy.
You're not grouchy, you were fine, but just I think you felt sort of I felt like you were suffering a little bit, and I was sort of riding quite high at that point. I felt
right. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to get somewhere where we felt safe and comfortable and not to worry about what we were going to do over the next few hours. And it was such an awkward amount of time. I think that's what I was fixating on, because we had a bus booked for around 8 o'clock just down the road, and what time did we arrive at the hospital? Maybe like 3 or something. And
somewhat awkward few hours,
especially for someone like me who hadn't slept.
Yeah.
I just thought, is this just...
Have you ever slept outside before?
Yeah, a number of times.
Okay.
Yeah, the best time I can remember actually was in the middle of the Australian desert, Kings Canyon, surrounded by, well, a few other people, but we were basically surrounding a campfire that was sort of dying out, just the embers or whatever, looking at the sky, and it's the most beautiful night sky I've ever seen in my entire life. It was about -1 temperature out in the desert, and we were just in sleeping bags. It was exceptional.
Right on. Yeah, me too as well. Just similar situations though, like getting buses at the wrong time and just camping out by police stations and stuff. So it's happened a few times. I think that probably my advice in that situation is, if you can't get a hotel, just find a big government sort of style building and try and sleep kind of near there.
Yeah, it was all right in the end. I mean, we sort of woke up, or you stayed up, didn't you? You didn't go to sleep at all.
Yeah.
I felt sort of quite good after my sleep on the bench.
But then something very difficult happened, Adam, because as I say, I was riding high, and I thought I'll organise all this. I got us a tuk-tuk, didn't I?
You did.
To the bus station.
Yeah.
I was like, God, in 1 hour we're going to be in that air-conditioned sleeper carriage. We'll be sleeping. It's going to be great.
Bliss.
The guy looked at us with somewhat surprise, looked at our bus ticket, phoned him up, hung up the phone, and then made a hand motion where he sort of turned his wrist over, like, turn the wrist, fingers outstretched. And I said, what does that mean? And he went, tomorrow. No. We booked the bus today. We need to get to Dehradun. Same hand motion, turn the wrist, tomorrow.
And then, we started to question what was going on, and he phoned someone, didn't he? He phoned someone that...
Phoned another person who spoke a bit better English, and they said, the bus to Dehradun ain't running today. It's broken down.
Broken down, just what you want to hear. That really rubbed salt into the wound, actually, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did. And then I just went into full-on power traveler mode, like booking in another bus, trying to figure it out. Like, it was really because that's an annoying and dangerous situation as well. The idea of having to spend another night in Ahmedabad after the night we just had.
Yeah, I mean,
I just wanted to be on that bus.
We would have booked a hotel if we needed to stay there, but we would have lost a day in a city that we hadn't necessarily planned on being in. No offense to anyone, but we weren't completely enamored by Ahmedabad from our experience.
I mean, we'd only been there at night during that time, but certainly it felt like a place that we wanted to leave.
Yeah, and I think we felt like we were due a little bit of good luck. Listeners to this might just be thinking, well, you make your own luck. You could have been more organised.
I do believe that, but we did in a way, didn't we? Because we booked another bus. That one was a few hours later, so we had to gone through a little while longer. But we got on the bus unscathed in the end, leaving now at about 11:30, and the bus, it was going to be a 26-hour sojourn all the way to Dehradun. I mean, we're tired. We get on the bus, and all hell is about to break loose, isn't it? But that will happen after the meditation break, because I don't know about you. I just need to clarify my thoughts.
Yeah, all right. We'll see you on the other side.
And like two wandering travellers in a city they know nothing about, trying to find a place to stay, allow your conscious mind to return into your brain as we embark on this, the second half of our bus experience as we head north to the northern part of India. Before we go off on this adventure, and what an adventure it is, I want to tell you guys, we've got an amazing community of listeners to the podcast now. Please, please, please go and follow us on social media at tripologypodcast. I know you'll often hear podcasters go, follow us here, see us there. There's additional things that we want you to consume. But really, honestly, it's such a cool community of backpackers over there. Instagram at tripologypodcast. And you can also send us an email, because this community lives and dies by exchanging stories, by telling each other all about the things we've been doing. We answer every single email that gets sent to tripologypodcast@gmail.com. Please, if you like the show, engage with the show. That way we can build this crazy thing that we love so much.
Yeah, we love hearing from you, and it's always such fun reading people's stories and then replying to them. So yeah, get those emails in. We'd absolutely love it.
Yeah, let's build tripology into this crazy, beautiful thing that we know that it can be. Okay, so we get on the bus at Ahmedabad, finally a safe haven that will ferry us, courier us all the way to our destination in Dehradun, which will be a gateway to the northern part of India. Adam, how was the journey for you?
This is where the embarrass part comes in. I thought up until probably the last 6 hours, it was a walk in the park.
Okay, great. Because I slept for the first kind of 20 hours, right?
Yeah.
I just completely passed out, gone to the world almost immediately. It was like I'd done the thing that I needed to do. I'd got us safely on the bus. Passed out, Z's.
Yeah. And maybe important to add as well that it was nowhere near as turbulent as the previous bus ride.
Yeah, nice it was, I thought.
So I was just, very happy that it was so comfortable. And then...
You know what I loved about this bus, I should just say?
Go on.
Normally, I have to monitor my water consumption on the bus because I'm terrified that I'll need the toilet desperately.
Sure.
And that we always, we won't stop at a convenient time, and then I'll have to, ask the driver, can we stop, can we pull over? I need a wee, all this stuff. It's quite an anxiety thing for me.
Sure.
What I loved about this bus was the presence of a onboard toilet.
Yeah. Yeah. It fills you with confidence, doesn't it? Makes you more relaxed because, if you do need to go to the toilet at any point in this bus journey, which if it's 26 hours long is quite likely.
Yes.
That you can just do that at any moment.
Exactly. And I noticed you behaved with full liberation at this stage.
Okay, all right, cool. So, this story starts when we stopped for breakfast, surely. Because that's when we consumed quite a lot of food. It was great food. If you are getting buses around India, do stop at these roadside cafes and indulge in...
Sometimes there's some treats.
Yeah, there's some nice things.
Yeah.
That was a cool experience. And then, the inevitable happened where I needed to go to the toilet.
You consume a breakfast, you need to go to the toilet. The circle of life continues.
We have a couple of cups of chai.
Yep.
So, that's only going to mean one thing for me.
Yeah. They used to prescribe, back in the day, cigarettes and coffee for constipation. That's just an unrelated fact.
Yeah, okay, here we go.
Breakfast and chai.
So fully consumed. And then we got back in the bus, that was all fine. And then a couple of hours later, I was thinking, wow, I really need the toilet and I don't know when we're going to stop next.
What was I up to? Sleeping, I imagine.
You were sleeping, so that's fine. But as we've mentioned previously, and I don't want this to be the running theme through the podcasts we release in India, but if you do need to go to the toilet for a number 2, let's say.
Less of a timer.
You don't have a lot of time to react.
Yeah. Oftentimes, if you need to go to the toilet in the UK, for example, that's an hour's notice.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got an hour to find the nearest washroom and defecate.
Yeah, and given that we're hurtling down the highway in a sleeper bus with lots of people, I thought even if I speak to the driver and manage to get the message across that I am going to need to go to the toilet in the next 10 seconds, the chances of us managing to pull over somewhere, what's going to happen?
You'd have had to do a drive-by. You would have had to lock yourself into the door, have them open the bay doors, and then just
just hang out the window.
Yeah, the Bombay spray.
Yeah, mate, can you just take hold of my shirt so I don't fall out? Yeah. But so I made a very, very quick sort of snap decision. I've only got the toilet as an option.
Well, it's not even much of a decision to make, is it? You need the toilet and there's a toilet. So you decide, let me use the toilet.
Yeah, well, it's important to maybe describe the toilet.
Okay.
Which was a basin and a urinal and a hole in the floor.
Hole in the floor. That would be my best bet, I think, for what can only be described as excrement.
Yeah. So there is a plot twist, is that there's no running water into the bathroom.
Well, that's fine. You take some water in with you.
And I did. And I took half a bottle of our water, our drinking water, in there with me.
Okay.
Because I already knew that there wasn't any running water from a previous time I went to the toilet. So I remembered that. It's important.
You've noticed I've taken a very empathetic approach.
No, I like it. Yeah,
Nice.
I appreciate
We're
it.
a team.
We're a
Tripology.
team. I appreciate it a lot because you were treated very differently after this story happened. So there I was. I thought it's quite embarrassing that I have to do this.
Yeah.
There's no running water.
So.
I've obviously got to manage the situation, but my goodness, was I relieved afterwards. I thought I've basically escaped what could have been a very embarrassing time in a bush.
Yeah, I mean, there's few things that feel as good as being desperate for the toilet and experiencing the relief.
Because it's not just the fact that you need the toilet and the physiological change that's happening. It's also the anxiety that builds up beforehand, and me thinking, not only have I got to make sure that I get somewhere that I can do this, but I've also got to do it, and then I've got to get back on the bus. The driver knows what's happened. I've been out in the wild. I've, not got any toilet paper or a bum gun or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a real sort of anxiety-stricken moment for me, but did the business. Thought, wow, dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, dodged a bullet, and just the complete relief of that is done.
Yeah.
Was it tinged with a new set of anxieties?
It was, because I had absolutely nowhere near enough water to wash what was in the basin. But I've been doing yoga. No, what was in the pan down.
Yeah.
So
the hole in the ground.
The hole in the ground. It was sort of covered by a little drain, but it was fine. So I tried to wash as much as I could down, and then leave enough to wash my hand.
Yeah, because you need to wash the hand after something like that.
You've got to rinse the hand, haven't you?
You don't want to come back to me sleeping away in our bunk bed.
So, I mean, I chose to use more water for my hand.
Okay, selfish.
So really selfish, and less water for the pan. So
okay, but that's all right, I imagine, because there's always more water.
There's always more water.
Yeah, know that I was sleeping with a bottle of water.
Yeah, I could have made a quick dash back to the back of the bus, grab the other water. Alan, mate, I'm really sorry. I'll buy you another one when we next stop. When we next stop just happened to be 5 minutes down the line.
Okay. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, really unfortunate timing. What I was comforted by, though, was the fact that I absolutely could not have waited another second.
Yeah, it wasn't like, I've made a decision out of luxury. I'd have rathered poo in the toilet as opposed to on the side of the road.
There's just no way. So what I did up until that point had to be the way to do it.
Now's a good time to mention, maybe, I'd never had this problem.
Yeah.
I've had the problem where I've desperately needed a wee. Rarely do I ever need a poo in that regard.
Yeah. I mean, do you think the fact that you're asleep for 90% of any bus journey changes that? Suppresses it somewhat?
No, maybe. Maybe it's that. Maybe I've not been smoking enough cigarettes or drinking enough coffee.
Or water. I mean, you drank almost nothing.
That's because I was asleep.
Yeah.
It's difficult to drink water while you're sleeping.
But so that was the situation we were in, guys. We were at a restaurant, and I knew that there was a little bit of remnants left that needed cleaning up. So I popped my head out the toilet and spoke to the guy managing the bus. Not the driver, the guy managing. Spoke pretty good English, good enough. And I said, "Oh, Punny, I need some water.
I have just done a poo down the hole in the ground." Panny,
for the
Panny, yes, for my poo.
Yeah.
Panny poory.
Oh God! So he was sort of questioning. He could see the panic in my face, I guess, and wondering why I looked the way I did. I said, "No, it's fine. I just need to get some water to wash the toilet." And he sort of looked confused and opened the door himself to reveal what I had left in the toilet on the floor.
How bad are we talking?
I mean, I don't know.
It's clear that you didn't wipe some muddy shoes, though. It's clear that it's human excrement.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about all the breakfast that we consumed in India and then whatever else. The listener must just be going crazy at this point, but it was something that needed cleaning. Let's just leave it at that. And the look on his face, he was outraged, Alan.
Immediately outraged.
Immediately shocked, visibly shocked, and then
unfair.
And then outraged. He said, "No, urine only." And then obviously I swallowed and I was like, "Oh."
That was the first you'd heard of that being urine only.
Well, because the hole in the floor looked like something that would have been used to do a number 2. And okay, let's just hold my hands up. There's no running water going into the pan. So that was where I questioned it, all right? There were taps and stuff that you would have been able to turn and create some running water if there was running water, but there wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, I've taken an empathetic stance to the story.
I'm a clutching at straws, mate.
No, I think that intuitively maybe I wouldn't have done a poo down that hole because the pipe from the urinal was also going. It was very clearly to me a drainage pipe from the urinal.
Yeah.
But I understand the psychological mess that you're in when you're desperate to use the toilet. I don't think you were thinking clearly.
Right.
And my empathy extends to that.
But we have to assume that women would sort of crouch over and urinate in the pan itself that I...
Yes. And I think that some female urine would go on the pipe. I think that's less of a problem than putting shit on the pipe.
yeah, fair point. So, let's cut back to the guy's reaction. He was visibly shocked and
upset.
A little bit angry. A bit angry.
Angry, upset, hurt,
yeah,
betrayed a little because you guys had become friends on the journey.
Yeah, he was quite a nice guy up until that point. And I don't know if he knew the extent of which I was having stomach troubles.
No.
So I went and got some water, and then he sort of aggressively said, no, pointed to what was a curled up hose pipe.
Thank God.
On the floor.
Yeah.
And basically roped in some restaurant staff because...
Yeah, they stopped the bus.
Yeah, no, we were stopped at a restaurant.
Right.
Yeah, they sort of parked it closer to the hose, and then we got the water going, fed it through, and he basically ordered me to clean this thing up myself, which I was happy to do, by the way, with a hose pipe. So I was in there spraying, cleaning it, and it was so much cleaner when I left it than when I found
because
it.
Because I only went to that toilet once before this incident happened, and
Right.
It was not clean.
It wasn't clean, was it?
No.
So, I think I did a fabulous job given the circumstances. It was my responsibility to do that. I held my hands up.
Right.
Got it back in good nick, brand spanking new, you might say.
I watched the people fumbling with the hose outside.
Were they furious?
They seemed upset about something.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe they'd never come across that before.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it wasn't communicated to us that it was definitely urine only.
You need to keep on laboring that point. I think if people approached Adam always telling him where he can't shit, your social life would take a real downturn.
God, this episode is awful. So embarrassing. Yeah, of course. Yeah. But anyway, so cleaned it all up. Thought I was in the good books. And then we sort of sat down. We had breakfast, which was all right. And then
breakfast is the beginning and end of all your troubles, isn't it?
Yeah. We had another bite to eat there. That was fine. And then I was basically ordered to pay what was a cleaning fee because they continued cleaning after the fact, and then they started hosing down the corridor and the footwell and all this kind of stuff, giving it a good old scrub, and then charged me a cleaning fee for that.
Okay, this is a bridge too far in my mind because they claimed that the cleaning fee should be 2,000 rupees, about $20.
Yeah, about
they
20.
They charged you $500 rupees, and then they basically said, like, God, we're only going to charge you 500 rupees.
Like doing me a favor.
Okay, now here's my opinion on this. I have a multifaceted opinion.
Okay.
So firstly, 500 rupees, maybe people think objectively not a lot of money, about $5.
Yeah.
But the thing is, a meal in India can cost 100 rupees, 125 rupees. So essentially you've bought a meal for every single member of staff on that bus, about 5 of them driving and managing and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that is the equivalent of you taking a shit on a megabus in the UK and then charging you, let's say a meal costs £10, 50 quid.
50 quid is a cleaning fee, yeah.
Yeah. Which, in my mind, for spraying some water over the remaining matter of your excrement.
Well, no, there was none. There was absolutely none. They did not need to touch that bathroom.
You did the bulk of the work.
Because they were cleaning other things that weren't the bathroom.
They were cleaning the stairs and stuff.
Yeah, they were doing the stairs, they were doing the footwell, they were, washing it. Was
50 quid equivalent spending power.
Perhaps.
Is pretty nuts.
Yeah.
2,000 rupees. $200 for that. It's pretty crazy, man.
Breaking the rules of the bus.
Yeah.
I did feel, I was ready to pay it. Of course I was. Because I didn't want the rest of our bus journey to be awkward.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I don't understand.
Or more awkward.
Maybe I don't understand economics very well. Maybe the spending power analogy isn't quite accurate. Maybe it doesn't really work like that. Maybe it is what it is. But I'll say this. Seemed very happy that you'd given him the 500 rupees to the point where he was like, you're giving me the 500? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Can I take this? And he was like, yeah, you just demanded it.
Yeah, he was taken aback by the fact I just handed it over and said, I apologise for what I did, kind of thing.
In
it
a
was
manner
a mistake.
that made me think that he really was not expecting. He came in with 2,500 and he was willing to maybe go, yeah, okay, buy me a coffee.
Yeah, I don't know. Because even I went to the toilet just for a number one 2 times after that.
Wow.
And he was like inviting me down the front of the bus and trying to get me to sit with him and asking me where we were from and all this kind of thing. So, but almost like being more friendly than he was beforehand.
Yeah, you were mixturating with the best of them on that bus.
Yeah.
So there we go. Not too bad. The rest of the trip, fairly uneventful. We arrived at a bottleneck and they forced us off that bus and onto another bus at one point.
Yeah.
We had to sit amongst the breadcrumbs and biscuits of every other person that had sat there.
Fairly uneventful. We got like chucked out of one bus into another one,
Yeah.
scrambled for our seats.
Yeah, but at that point, the bar was just set so high, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it was fine. It was fine. It was just long. I think when you are on a bus and when you're doing these journeys for such a long time and you're obviously depleted of your resources and tired, you just think, chuck it all at us and we'll just take it on the chin. I mean, it's just part of traveling, isn't it?
At this point now, as we record this show, we've not slept in a bed since Jamnagar.
Wow, you're right.
Which is 70 hours ago.
Yeah,
We've
3 days.
recorded
Yeah.
a couple of episodes in advance because we're about to head into the mountains. So
I hope we don't come across too fatigued.
yeah, so there we are. We've not slept in a bed for a very long time. And we've just been night busing around. We're in Dehradun now. We're about to head off into the mountains, into the Himalayas. We're going to go all the way around there. We'll keep you guys posted on all the adventures that happen while we're up there next week.
Yeah, can't wait for it. It's going to be so much fun.
But for now, we're going to head off to the Patreon section of the episode, a little bit of an extra relaxed section that we do after this episode ends. Patreon.com/tripologypodcast if you want to hear it. For the rest of you, we will see you next week.
We'll see you there.
Bye.
Bye.